Hey, welcome to another episode of the Rob Report. I'm your host, Robert BOBTV Brown. Before we get into the segment, by the end of this video, I want you to do a few things for me. First of all, if you like the video, hit the like button. Please do. If you don't like it, hit unlike. It's okay. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel. Sometimes, as Jimmy Dole would say, you find yourself unsubscribed and you need to make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell right next to it so you can be notified when a new video is being dropped. Whoop, there it is. And more importantly, the super chat will be on for this segment. So if you want to donate toward the efforts of Bob TV, that's freely up to you. I do have a job, but any amount will help toward the growth of this channel. And more important, let us help you help us by introducing you to a program. There's a link down below that says Equal Justice for All. You're going to click that video link and there's some educational tutorial about a phenomenal program in America that is really making equal justice a reality for every citizen. So this program is phenomenal. The proceeds from you participating in the program will go back, 10% will go back into the Bob TV YouTube channel. So anyway, my name is Robert Brown with the Rob Report. Let's get into it. Hey, good day. Welcome to another episode of Rob Report. I'm your host, Robert BOBTV Brown. How you doing today? Now, look, I am a big, when it comes to the news media and when it comes to news commentary, I'm very critical of the mainstream media. And when mainstream media outlets begin to go directions like MSNBC is going, I got to pump the brakes on this. You got Reid. Joy Reid, most of the time, is pretty much a hack. Once in a blue moon, Joy Reid to get something right. I remember back in the days, probably about 2014, 2012, Joy Reid called Bernie Sanders the vanguard voice of the people or of the Democratic Party, when he never voiced himself to be a Democrat. He always voiced himself as a person who caucuses it with the Democrats, but never took the Democratic mantra. But he know in running for office, he figured he had to run in the Democratic Party to really get a fighting chance. Now, he probably needed that at the beginning. But once he got that, to me, once you use a platform like that to get your name recognition up, you don't need it no more. Bernie Sanders can run as an independent. He don't need either party because his name recognition is that high now. And right now he is the most trustworthy, the most favorable person in Washington, D.C. So he don't need the party name. But yet he takes on the party name. When he began to run against Hillary Clinton, now understand this, Bernie Sanders never really wanted to run against Hillary Clinton. He's not that type of person where he's trying to get the limelight. He likes to stay behind the scenes. But I can tell you this, he did try to find somebody to run to pull her to the left because she was pretty much center right. I wouldn't even say center right. She was more like lightweight right. She was more Republican than she were the traditional old school 1970s, 60s Democrat. Well, let me say 80s, 70s. I don't want to go into 60s Democrats. 60s Democrats was not that hot, okay? Especially the Dixiecrats. But as time flies, he had to find somebody to pull her to the left when she began to announce that she was running for office. Nobody was willing to do that. He tried to get Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren punked out. She didn't want to go against Hillary. She didn't think she'd have a chance. It doesn't matter whether you have a chance. You still needed somebody there to pull her to the left. Well, I'm going to my right, to the left. Not become left-wing extremists, but just pull some of the policies to the left. That didn't happen. So she caved in and quit. So Bernie had no chance but to run. Now, why am I talking about Bernie Sanders right now? I don't know. I'm talking about Joy Reid and how Joy Reid, people like Joy Reid, people like Rachel Maddow, all these people were all on the Bernie train at that time. But the moment Bernie announced that he was running, the media just lost their mind. Told Ed Schultz not even to cover it. Ed Schultz covered it anyway. And they fired Ed Schultz as a result of it. That's why Ed Schultz, God rest his soul, ended up working at RT. And they started calling him a Russian puppet at that time because he started working for RT. Now, where am I going with this? Well, recently, as 2 days ago, Tulsi Gabbard began to say the things that Tulsi Gabbard says, that I'm not for war. I do believe in Medicare for all. I am a lefty, but I do recognize the needs of people in the right too. I recognize the people need in the right. I recognize the people in the center. I recognize the need of the people on the left. And that's where I need to go. I need to go to the left, to the center, and to the right to understand their needs. And what I always say, advocate for it. You need to do a little more for black people, Tulsi. I'm hoping that you do that. Okay? All right. No more running away from people who ask you questions about what you're going to do for the black people. Give them an opportunity to answer that question. Now, in answering that question, they begin to move away from that. Now, let me get to this point about where Joy Reid went this, the direction that she went on this. Tulsi Gabbard always talk about military intervention, and we need to stop doing that. Stop wasting our money on these regime change wars. Stop interfering in other people's election. We do that more than Russia. Right now, we try to interfere with Venezuela. We try to interfere with, you name it. We tried to interfere. We tried to interfere with Iran. We tried to interfere with Iraq. We tried to interfere with everybody's election. We tried to interfere with Russian election. We the one that put in, I could go on and on and on of our interference. Tulsi Gabbard said we need to stop doing that. We need to stop being the world's police. We need to stop trying to interfere in other people's foreign affairs when we got our own issues at home. So that's her talk. That is her stump speech. Yet, here we got Joy Reid, got the nerve to say something like this. Watch this.
What party did you see on display on that stage tonight?
Well, I thought it was a lively debate. A couple of things just to run through quickly. I think because our friend here said a lot of stuff. I think with Tulsi Gabbard, the challenge, I think, with Ms. Gabbard is, yes, as somebody who was very much against the Iraq War, got out of news, really, initially because of my opposition to the Iraq War. I think a lot more people than we know feel that way. Even people who have military backgrounds who say, why did we do this? Why did we spend our country's human resources on this war? And I think it was a lot of the reason that Barack Obama was a viable candidate for president, is that he could see ahead that this was not a wise idea. And I think a lot of Democrats preferred him over Hillary Clinton in 2008 because of that. I think that that's true. I think the challenge that Tulsi Gabbard is having is that you can feel that way about the Iraq War, as I definitely did, but also find it odd that the way she talks about regime change wars is exactly the same way that Russia talks about them. Right. She uses this language that feels straight out of kind of the Kremlin. Sure. It is odd. Yeah. And that she went to see Bashar al-Assad and cannot take away from her interaction with him or her observation of him that he is a criminal who is not just hurting random people. He's hurting his own people.
The fact that she couldn't call him a war criminal is stunning.
That you can't see what he is also a weird Kremlin-y view that she has of the world that makes her an odd fit for a party.
All right, so let me go back to this for a second. Now, and Joy Reid, I don't know what to say about Joy Reid. First of all, you see Joy Reid, only black lady on this panel. 3 white men, 1 lady, a Line news reporter, Brian Williams. You got old hacky, right-wing Republican Democrat who lost her election. You got this black woman, Joy Reid. You got Steve Smits, whatever his name used to be, with the McCain camp. And then you got movie producer Michael Moore, friend of Bernie Sanders. Okay. I want to see if Michael Moore is going to defend Hillary Clinton. There you go. You see him over here drinking some coffee, Kool-Aid, whatever, in the cup. But you got this Claire McCaskill. Claire McCaskill shouldn't even be on this panel. How is she going to tell somebody how to win an election when she lost hers? She lost her election because she leaned toward the right. She was a Democrat that tried to look like she was a right-wing Democrat running for office. And I always told you, if you're a right-wing Democrat and you're running against a right-wing Republican in a right-wing Republican state, guess who they're going to choose over the Democrat, the right-wing Republican? You got to go to the left and talk about the needs of that community in order to win that state. She didn't want to listen. She didn't want to run on that platform. She did her own thing and she lost. Brian Williams, oh man, he when you talk about war and the beauty of our weapons and all that, he'd be about the orgasm, man. Steve Smith, I don't know what to say about him. Michael Moore, supposed to be a person that pushed to the left, but let's go and see what he has to say about this situation. I got to get out of here.
What party did you see on display on that stage tonight?
Well, I thought it was a lively debate. A couple of things just to run through quickly. I think.
Now the question was, what party did you see on the debate stage tonight? What kind of asinine question is that? And when I say asinine, Brian Williams can literally kiss the ass of mine. So what kind of question is that? What party was on the stage? Brian, this is a Democratic Party debate. Of course, the Democratic Party is on that stage. Now, do they have tried and true, tested Democratic policies? That's a different story.
Because our friend here said a lot of stuff. I think with Tulsi Gabbard, the challenge I think with Ms. Gabbard is, yes, as somebody who was very much against the Iraq War, got out of news really, initially because of my opposition to the Iraq War. I think a lot more people than we know feel that way. Even people who have military backgrounds who say, why did we do this? Why did we spend our country's human resources on this war? And I think it was a lot of the reason that Barack Obama was a viable candidate for president, is that he could see ahead that this was not a wise idea. And I think a lot of Democrats preferred him over Hillary Clinton in 2008 because.
Yet, if he saw this, why, when he became president, he upscaled the wars from 2 wars to 7 wars to I don't know how many proxy wars. Yeah, Joy Reid, Barack Obama. How he took Bush crappy 2 wars of Afghanistan and Iraq and turned it into 7. The black man, half black, half white, first black president, took 2 wars of white war criminal George Bush and upscale it to 7 wars and don't expect people to call him a war criminal and call him out on it. How do you justify that, Joy Reid?
Because of that, I think that's true. I think the challenge that Tulsi Gabbard is having is that you can feel that way about the Iraq War, as I definitely did, but also find it odd that the way she talks about regime change wars is exactly the same way that Russia talks about them.
Right.
Now, here she is spouting this Russia crap again. Joy Reid, the black woman, is saying that Tulsi's using talking points. How is this talking points of Russia? This is talking points of American people, lady. We are out here trying to interfere in other people's personal business. Let them handle their own personal business. We're actually using this as a tool to put in proxy leaders to run those countries so we can do business with them. Joy Reid, you need to stop this and stop being ashamed of yourself. You're going to spout this, but you're going to crap on people who talk about reparations, talk about black agenda. You're going to do that, but let me keep going. She literally said that this is a talking point of Russia stopping regime change wars. Why are you freaking defending people who want regime change wars, black lady? Oh, I forgot. Because that's how you get your money. Because you're a news host and you got the war complex, the war propaganda machine, the military complex funding your news segments. Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, you name it, funding your segment. So you're going to smear this lady trying to say that she getting her talking points from Russia. Where at? Joy Reid, you got to be the most shameful black woman in news. I thought it was Roly Poly Martin, but man, you trying to take the crown. Let me keep going.
Uses this language that feels straight out of kind of the Kremlin.
Sure.
It is odd.
What language is she using straight out of Kremlin, black lady with the braids? You got some nice lips though, but let me stop. I'm a lip man. I love lips on a woman. So it's not, so don't fault me for it. She got some juicy lips. But anyway, that ain't got nothing to do with the talking points that she's spouting out of her mouth. How in the hell and heaven, I'll say that because I don't want my pastor to get on me, is Tulsi Gabbard spouting out Russian talking points by saying we need to stop these unnecessary regime change wars and we need to talk to adversary and foe to maintain peace in the stabilize all throughout the world. How else are you going to stabilize world relationships and world affairs if you're not willing to talk to friend and foe? Totalitarian and democracy leaning leaders.
Yeah.
And that she went to see Bashar al-Assad and cannot take away from her interaction with him.
Now, how are you going to talk about her went to see Bashar al-Assad? The whole point of this thing is they don't like the fact that she went to see this guy, not understanding that is a strength when you can go meet with friend or foe. He wasn't the only one that went out there. There was a whole unit that went out there with other leaders, but you're not talking about Dennis Kucinich. You're not talking about the other leaders that went also to that land to see what was really going on in war, in peace, when a country is destable, and you got certain things happening in that country, and the propaganda machine is saying that somebody is destroying their own people in their own country, you're supposed to go inquire about it. You don't believe the news media like you have. You actually think we're going to believe people like you, Joy Reid, just because you say it? No, leaders, we put them in office to do the bidding of us, not the bidding of other people. So it is right for her as a political leader to keep us out of war. And if she has to go to a country to talk to the people in the country first, which she did, and if she get an opportunity to actually talk to the leader, she need to seize on the opportunity. We don't need to be talking about, well, if you stop killing your people, I'll talk to you. Who are you? Who in the hell are you to think you got that kind of power that you can tell Bashar al-Assad or Putin or any other leader that they need, or Kim, that I'm only going to talk to you if you stop doing what you're doing to the people there? First of all, you ain't got that power. Number two, you don't know what's really going on until you meet with the people there. She met with the people there. Have you ever taken time out of your schedule to leave from your newsroom in Syria to go talk to the people in Syria? No. Shut your mouth. One thing I can say about Anderson Cooper, and I'm not a fan of Anderson Cooper, is Anderson Cooper have built a legacy of being out in the field. Look, when you're a rich boy and you got the world at your hand and you can spend money doing anything you want, you get bored, so you'll put yourself out there to do extreme things, which rich white people do. They go out there and jump out of planes and bungee jump over lava and all that kind of stuff. They do whatever they can just to get that rush, and he did that. But I'll give him his credit. He's been in the middle of battles. He's been in the middle of war. He's talking to people. Now, he stopped doing that. Now he's the main anchor man on CNN. But when have you ever took the time out there and go out there and talk to the people of Syria, Joy Reid? Tulsi Gabbard did that. A whole team of politicians went down there to do that because they don't want to send our troops out to war over stupid stuff. They don't want to send them out to war over lies like we did in Iraq. Now, you said you didn't fall for it, that you didn't approve of the war. Well, you expect her to not come to a judgment on her own? You expect her to just listen to the news people and not go out and investigate it herself? Well, she did. And if she got an opportunity to talk to the leader and find out what's going on with the leader, what's wrong with her talking to the leader? That shows good judgment. Good judgment saying, I'm willing to talk to enemy and adversary just to maintain the peace. There has to be a middle person. But nah, you want somebody to be like the rest of you hacks up in Washington, D.C. I want to call you something else, but I don't cuss that much. But you guys got to come on with this bull crap. She's spitting out Russian talking points. You need to stop. I'm as a black man seeing a black woman on the news not telling the truth, saying whatever, and I'm going to call it like it is, what the white-owned media is telling you to do. I see you as another Stephen on media doing whatever you can to suppress anybody of color. You talking... Let me let this thing keep playing. As you can see, I'm a little upset that she would actually say something like this about another woman of color. I mean, of course, Tulsi's not black, but she's not white. And of course, I believe Tulsi need to have a more stronger policy concerning Black of America that's separate on her policy plank where Black American can go read, and it has to involve closing the wealth gap. And there's only one way to close the wealth gap. Don't get it twisted. There's only one way to close it. Education is not enough. Putting money into the education and community, that ain't going to close the wealth gap. You need to give people their reparations. Here she is telling these lies, man, about Tulsi Gabbard.
Her observation of him, that he is a criminal who is not just hurting random people. He's hurting.
You know who else is a criminal, Joy Reid? George W. Bush. Yet, you get mad at us because we didn't like Ellen sitting up there dancing with George Bush the criminal. The World Court has dubbed George W. Bush a criminal. The World Court has dubbed Ronald Rumsfeld a criminal. The World Court has dubbed Dick Cheney a criminal. And you guys don't mind calling them a criminal when it benefits you and you win in the election. Right now, the World Court is calling Donald Trump a war criminal. They're calling Mike Pompeo and Dick Cheney a war criminal. But there's somebody in between those two that you don't want nobody calling out. The same World Court that dubbed Donald Trump a war criminal, the same World Court that dubbed George Bush a criminal, also dubbed Barack Obama a criminal. Why? Because of the drone strike program. Why? Because he killed an innocent American in this drone strike. He caught an innocent American and didn't give them due the opportunity to defend themselves, due process. Barack Obama. But you get mad, oh, it's okay to talk about only Republicans, but I can't talk about Democrats who done the same doggone freaking thing. See, that's the difference between me and you. I don't take sides. I take the side of truth. I don't cover one for the other one. So you need to stop this, sister, because you taking sides. The same Democratic Party will stab you in the back just like the Republicans will stab you in the back. Ask Ayanna Pressley, who right now is out there caping for Elizabeth Warren for the Democratic Party yet, but when she tried to run for office, they stabbed her in the back and refused to fund her to race against somebody who they chosen to run for the state of Massachusetts Senate seat. House of Representatives seat. You doing the same thing. You're kissing up to these people, and they don't care nothing about you. They're using you for ratings, and at the end of the day, they'll let you go like they did House Perry, and they'll let you go like they did what's her name? That's dating your boy that come on at 10 o'clock on NBC. You only got that job because you're willing to do anything to keep this job, and I understand that. You're lying on this lady right now.
His own people.
The fact that she couldn't call him a war criminal is stunning.
That you
sad,
can't
very
see what
sad.
She has called him a war criminal, but she is the type of person that's going to be very, very careful with her words, because she's not just going to call somebody a war criminal because y'all call him a war criminal. There need to be evidence. Would you guys call Barack Obama a war criminal? Hell no. But you'll call Dick Cheney one. But I don't even think you'll call him one. Or you won't call Trump one. Oh, you don't mind calling Trump a war criminal. And he is. So you're going to get mad at her because she don't call out, because she met with, sorry guys, I get pissed off and tongue-tied out of these hacks.
Is also a weird Kremlin-y view that she has of the world that makes her an odd fit.
A weird Kremlin view. What the hell is she talking about? A weird Kremlin view. What is that? A weird Kremlin view? Her view is the view of most Americans. We don't need to be out here fighting in wars that we ain't got nothing to do with it. And all that money has been taken out of the American people's pocket, and we need to stop these wars and curb these wars down and put the money. You're taking taxpayers' money to fund these nonsense wars when that money need to go into education, it need to go into the healthcare system, it need to go into a whole bunch of stuff. And you sitting up here trying to defend this mess. Boy, I tell you, Joy Reid, you have sold out. You're a black sellout. You're Stephen from the Django Unchained.
For a party of Democrats. I'm not sure what it is she's doing.
He's Bashar al-Assad.
Exactly. This is not a neutral character on the world stage. She is a palpably evil character. And the fact that she doesn't have an opinion on that is weird.
She already said he was evil. She already said if what the things that is proven that he's done is done, she called him out for it. But she also said there's a lot of things that we've done to do just as bad. We fund these terrorists with taxpayers' money to try to take out people like Assad. We've used terrorists to do terrorist act against the people and try to make it seem like Assad did it. And we've used the same playbook in Iraq. We use the same playbook in a whole bunch of other countries. And here she is talking this Kremlin view. Ladies, you don't shut up with your BS.
So I think it's a weird place for her to be in the Democratic Party. I think that's number one. I think number two,
it's a weird place for her to be in the Democratic Party. Like you know what is a real Democrat. Do you, Joy Reid, know what a real Democrat is? The Democratic Party has gone so far to the right that John F. Kennedy and his policies of Social Security, his policies of Medicare for all, Dr. King's policy of universal basic income would be considered extreme left these days. And the language that you guys are speaking and most of those people on that stage speaking are centered right or lightweight right wing Republican talking points. And here you are, you sound like Fox News.
It's absolutely true that the working class has been viewed for decades as this sort of, white Midwestern hard scrabble person, when the majority of working class people are people of color and are young people who can't afford to pay their student loans and who are going broke even though they're working. People like, my kids that have jobs. My middle son has graduated from college, is working. He can't afford to move out of my house. He wants to, but he can't. There's no way. Our kids have to live with us.
Well, as if Tulsi Gabbard is not talking about those things. She's actually saying we're spending more money doing this foolishness when we need to reinvest in housing and things like that. And look, Joy Reid, who are you kidding? You're probably like Steve Ducey. Daddy can get him a job. Your son probably end up getting a job there at the news network anyway, and pretty soon he'll have enough money. I'm quite sure you're probably looking for a job for him right now. And then you got the nerd to talk about quid pro quo.
My husband and myself, because they can't afford it. So I think we have to change the whole concept of what we're talking.
Okay, I'm not gonna laugh, but I'm quite sure Joy Reid makes about maybe a couple million a year. But she said her kids can't afford to move out their house. Give them a job there like every other, let me stop.
about when we talk about working class and broaden it out. I thought it was important that the debate was in a city like Atlanta tonight, where you have a lot of African Americans, Latinos, people who are that other working class. And I think what they heard tonight, number one, was the best debate I've heard Kamala Harris have.
I agree.
By far, it was her best performance in a debate.
How is this Kamala Harris' best performance? Her best performance was her first performance when she went after Joe Biden. She was horrible in this. Her defense, her clapback against Tulsi Gabbard was so freaking weak that Joy Reid, what planet are you on, lady? Have you been smoking the endo, the ganja? Were you in the back sniffing some cocaine? You know, that's what you news reporters probably do anyway. Come on. You got to be high off something to call this woman that come on. You've been drinking Russian vodka. Because right now everything is Russian to you. Get out of here.
I thought she was strong. I thought when she made the point, and having worked on a couple of campaigns, look, the Democratic Party comes knocking at the church door 6 weeks out, and they want black people to vote, but the rest of the year, there's sort of an invisibility there. African American women are dutiful voters. The most dutiful voters don't get a ton out of it. I thought that was strong for her. I thought Cory Booker had a really...
Yeah, and Kamala Harris ain't doing no better with black people either. Okay? Matter of fact, her record makes black people cringe. Make black people don't want to have nothing to do with her. So start with this. Kamala has a good night. And Cory Booker is on the losing end too. So stop trying to tout up these so-called black heroes, these black saviors of the Democratic Party, the female Obama, the black Obama. Then you're going to pout, lift up Pete Buttigieg, the gay Obama. And then, the Latino Obama didn't even make it on the stage. Julian Castro. Stop with this Obama stuff.
A really good night. Hopefully it'll change the dynamic, because up to now we haven't really been centering these voters, and hopefully tonight will change.
Rhodes Scholar Cory Booker.
I thought Kamala also did a really good job tonight in articulating women in this country that are having children in their late 20s and 30s and are trying to manage taking care of their parents.
Yes, absolutely.
Taking care of their children. Yeah. The costs associated with all that. Yeah. And that this is really, these are the working folks we should be really focused on. And she was very good at and there were a lot of women tonight that were watching her tonight and said, you know what?
She can relate to her.
Now here she is just making stuff up. Who's listening to Claire McCaskill these days? Why are you so important now, Claire McCaskill? And why are you sitting up here dying as if you knew what every American woman was doing? Some of the American women wasn't even watching this debate. They're working. Some of the American women were probably working out. This debate, we knew that this was going to be a sucky debate. And you got the nerve to say, well, all of them were watching Kamala Harris. None of them was watching Tulsi. None of them was watching Amy Klobuchar. None of them was watching Elizabeth Warren. God, these people, they're trying to save the centric. And all these talking points are all about saving the centric. You're not going to be able to save the centric this elections, ladies. Give it up. Give it up.
She gets me. Yeah. She understands the struggles I'm going through right now.
God, this is hilarious, funny, condescending, and stupid. Joy Reid, you need to sit down somewhere. I don't know what you've been smoking on, or somebody put something in your coffee or water, but you're really wacko. You're doing the Rachel Maddow things. The thing that did not work. The thing is not going to ever... You're going to try to use this like you trying to use against Trump. And if Tulsi win the election, they're going to say Russian did it. She's trying to follow the talking points of Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton put it out there, and they're trying to use this to try to whip on... Stop, Joy. Stop being a hack. Stop kissing Hillary Clinton's behind. Stop kissing CNN's behind, the MSNBC nothing but Clinton. CNN, Clinton News Network. Stop following the talking points of a woman and a man that has lost it politically. that's still trying to grab hold and hold on to some kind of power. Obama don't even want that power. He is his own machine. But yet, the news media is still trying to protect Obama. The news people is trying to protect the Clintons. And they're trying to go after people who are anything but Clinton. They're trying to protect the legacy of Clinton, and they'll ruin anybody else's legacy in order to do it. Trump's legacy, which his legacy was ruined before he even ran for office. But they sure trying to get after Gabbard, calling her everything. Her talking point is you criminally. What kind of mess is that? And then to try to defend as a last hope. What's her name? Kamala Harris. You can defend Kamala Harris all you want, ladies. She's done. Women are not finally rising up again for Warren. It's over. Men ain't gonna ever rise up for, not Warren, Harris. Stop trying to defend Harris. Stop trying to cover Harris. Stop trying to act like the women of the world in the United States heard Harris. They heard the heart of Harris and rising up, and they're going to all of a sudden start to support Harris and lift her up. That ain't happening. White women are in love with black women are in love. No, it's not happening. It's not happening. This is your last ditch. They give her a chance to clap back on Tulsi Gabbard. And it failed miserably. It didn't work. Tulsi Gabbard is too tough. She's going to tell the truth whether you like it or not. Even things that I don't like. She's not going to go back. She's not going to defend the party. Well, at the end of the day, I don't know what she'll do at the end. But she really believes that she need to take the party back to FDR, just like Bernie Sanders believe he need to take the party back to FDR. I don't care about none of that stuff. I just want to make sure you got some good policies and you all are able to implement it that's going to benefit working people. I don't care about your freaking party. You guys care about party. You're mad at her because she's willing to call out the party. It's the same way you were mad at Bernie Sanders because she's willing to call out the party. At the end of the day, they're not leaving the party. No matter where you are, when you see wrong, you should be able to call it out. Why? Because you need to turn the wrong into a right. It's happening in my church. It's happening in your job. It's happening in the Democratic Party. It's happening in the Republican Party. It's happening in the Green Party. No matter where you are, there's things that's going to be wrong that need to be fixed. And if people feel that they have the ability to fix it, have at it, Hoss. Go for it. Tulsi Gabbard believes she can fix this mess. Have at it, Hoss. Go for it. You guys don't want it to be fixed. You like it just the way you are. And shame on the person who don't want to support the fixer in the organization. I'm not in your organization. I'm not Democratic or Republican. I'm a proud independent and going to always stay that way. But you guys clearly got problems in your party that's hurting the working people. And you care more about protecting the people in the party than protecting the working people through your party. And you can't protect the working people through your party when you got crooks, hacks, all in that party. Whether it's in the Democratic news media, whether it's part of Democratic businesses, whether it's part of the Democratic machine, if you guys don't change your way, you're going to be more of a hurt to the working people than a help. And you wonder why these people are leaving you guys going over to the other hurtful party. Well, at least they don't hurt me as bad. Fool, you crazy. They hurt you worse. Anyway, Joy Reid, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Shame on you.